I think by day 3 they're having, there's 2 basically given on day 3. On 2 months they're giving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 vaccinations in one day. And it just goes on and on and on and on. And it's absolutely appalling, these things that are happening.
Okay. I'm just getting messages there that the stream, for some reason, is dropping. Guys, if you're having problems with the stream, we are aware of it and we're working on it in the background here. We'll just persist for the next 5-10 minutes and see how we go. If we continue to break up, then we'll go to another host to conduct the hosting, obviously. Okay, so we spoke about water.
Yep.
Debbie, now oils. Let's talk oil.
Okay, essential fatty acids, hugely important for the body. Your EFAs are part of your cell membrane. So whereas water basically makes all of the body function properly, your essential fatty acids make up the outer layer of the cell and are hugely important. They basically hold the proteins in the membrane and they help us kind of traffic substances in and out of it. Without a proper membrane in place, you can't hold your water properly. And also, when the membrane's in place and water can pass through properly and out again, it creates osmosis and it creates energy, so it creates hydroelectricity. And this feeds your ATP, which is kind of like your battery. It's kind of an energy molecule, so effectively it creates energy for the body. So it works in tandem, it really does. But your essential fatty acids enable you to kind of remain fluid, and they stop you from feeling stiff. Your brain is one of the fat-richest organs, so it's hugely important for the brain. We're seeing drops in kind of intellect at times, and if you've got things like memory or concentration issues, struggling to concentrate, depression's linked with this again, then fundamentally you're probably low in essential fatty acids. Your essential fatty acids also are kind of precursors to what are called prostaglandins, which are like hormone-like substances that regulate the functions within your cell. And these regulate things like blood pressure, they regulate tone of muscles, your arteries, and they help to really balance the body out. So your EFAs are needed for every cell in the body. So if you imagine that you're 70 trillion cells, then you need a good amount of essential fatty acids every single day. And this is things like your fish, you've got hemp seed oil, your flax, your avocados, your nuts, your seeds, sapphire oils, all those sorts of things, even primrose oils. All those are really important for the cell membrane and to allow the cell to actually function properly, to enhance growth, ensure metabolic actions are happening in the body, and they just help to govern the life process in general. So it's really important to actually make sure that you're having them, and they really do work in tandem together. And so when I'm working with my clients, I always make sure that I've got water in place, and then I always put oils in place next. And they are absolutely fundamental, and they're an essential component of health. And this is often where, when you're talking about obesity, people, if they've not got the right fats in their body and they're eating trans fatty fats or the hydrogenated fats, which are in your baked products, your processed products, then you are going to not be feeding that cell membrane. You're not going to give it the fluidity it needs. It doesn't metabolize properly. Therefore, the body is going to hold on to what you're giving it if it's processed foods, if it's denatured foods, if it's not natural. And fundamentally, this is where you're going to see obesity happen, because the cell can't function as it should do. So they're absolutely essential. They're one of the, you've got several essential components to health. You've got your essential fatty acids, you've got amino acids, your 8 amino acids, you've got your vitamins, your minerals, your carbs, water, oxygen, and light. That list there is absolutely essential. You can't live without them. And most people, they live on they live their daily life without water. because they're not drinking enough. They live without essential fatty acids because they don't eat fish. They don't eat the oily fish. They don't eat their seeds and things like that. And most people don't even get out into the light anymore. Because often, they go to work in the dark and they get home in the dark.
Yeah, well, that's the 24-hour world that we've had created for us, of course. Yep. As far as the oils are concerned, is there any kind of simple solution to lack of oil in the body? I mean, is there a tablet you can go and buy from Holland and Barrett, or just buy a tin of tuna with natural oils, or what's the deal?
I always try to get everything in initially with foods, so fish, nuts, seeds, and things like spirulina and stuff like that. So spirulina, I don't see it as a supplement, I see it as a kind of food. So, and all those contain oils. And then I will then put oils in. So depending on how deficient the individual is, and I would say 99.9% of the people I see are deficient in oils, I will then put in a fish oil if they're not vegan or vegetarian. I will then put in a range of oils, basically across kind of the fish, the hemp, the flax oil. Flax oil is absolutely brilliant, to be honest, and nuts and seeds. So yes, you can go off to Holland and Barrett and get a fairly inexpensive oil. I would always suggest you get it from a better outlet, to be honest, one of your kind of more whole foods outlets, just because the quality will be better. Holland and Barrett aren't particularly known for high quality, and but it depends where you're at financially. You're better off having that than nothing at the end of the day.
A question came in for you just a wee while back there, and while we were on the subject of water, Paul from tnsradio.ning.com asks, Gary, can you ask Debbie what her opinion is on drinking natural water, as in rainwater?
Oh, rainwater, because it's distilled, isn't it? I would always suggest you put it through a filtering system, and you get yourself a good quality filtering system. I don't know a huge amount about that. I would have to think about that and take his email address and write to him separately to answer that. I'd have to have a think about it, because it's distilled water. And my understanding is that it's distilled water, let me think, it actually, after a while, it makes the body deficient in, I think it's lymphocytes, I think the word is, and that can be dangerous to the body. But I need to look into rainwater in a bit more detail than that. But my suggestion with water is that you get a good quality filter. If you're drinking tap water, depending on how close you are to a city, I know when I do the screening, I can nearly always tell when someone lives in London, and that's because of the amount of barbiturates that are in the water that show up. So there's a higher amount of pharmaceuticals in your tap water, often nearer your cities. So I would always suggest you get as best quality water filter that you can afford. I have one that's on my sink, which is a carbon filter, which is what I can afford. Some people might be able to afford osmosis, and I don't go for osmosis because it uses more water than it actually provides. So I don't feel very comfortable with that personally, but it is a better quality filter than carbon. So it's just a step-by-step approach. I've got friends who will only drink spring water, and they can afford to, so effectively they have it brought to them, and one of my friends lives with a spring. So and you can really tell the difference in the water, and the hydration that you get from it is far, far better.
So is this the natural spring water, not the spring water that you get out of the bottles?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's natural spring water. Dr. Schauberger's work is really interesting to actually look at in regards to water, because he shows that, I don't know if you know Dr. Schauberger's works, Gary, but his work shows that the more we push the water through pipes and through systems, it denatures it, and it changes the molecular structure. So in effect, it makes it less hydrating. His work was just really interesting, and is well worth having a look at for some of your listeners who are interested in kind of the natural energies that are around water. He watched water for years and watched